Veronica, Sydney, I need your help here. How about this? Contract extension for Joe McKeown. That was the news of the morning when Northwestern announced it. He's been there, 14. This is his 14th year. He's going to be there a few more, no matter what. We're excited to have Veronica, Burton, Sydney Wood, and the man with the new contract extension who said he's buying dinner tonight. That was very gracious of you. Didn't have to do that, Joe, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, Mike, no problem, man. No problem. I got coupons everywhere, so we're good.
That's my kind of shopper, right? You had maybe my favorite quote from the podium earlier today. You were talking about how great your team was, but also that it was so good that you're creating WNBA players, that Lindsey Pulliam is now in the WNBA, and you said she scored 2,000 points for us. Also gave up 1,800. My line of the morning. How much, let me start with you two, how much does this guy love defense?
For sure. Loves it. Loves it. Talks about it every day.
I mean, it's the top priority, right? It's what makes you as a team, Sydney, special, is that you guys play a defense in this league where there are teams that score 80 or 90 a game. You guys are that shutdown team.
Yeah, we definitely take pride in it, and it does start with coach. We drill it every single day in practice over the summer, so we work really hard on it. So we're glad that, we can be one of those teams that shut down the teams that score in the hundreds on a daily basis.
What is it that makes you happiest about seeing your team play good defense?
Well, I was hoping they'd answer. This is a two-time Defensive Player of the Year. So
you can answer, Veronica. What makes him happiest?
What makes him happiest is when we're getting in those passing lanes and getting easy buckets in transition. That's, I feel like, one of the biggest things is just staying disciplined on the defensive end and really taking a lot of pride in it, because that's what we talk about and that's what we work on in practice.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, I'll tell you, for me, what really makes me happy is when you get a group and they play together and they can coach practice themselves, that they're that good at what we do.
Yeah.
And we had that last year and the year before. That's one of the goals this year. But 2 years ago, they just looked at each other and they didn't even have to say a word. They just did everything right. And that's when that makes my job easier.
Yeah. How, and maybe more so where, offensively, do you want steps forward to be made this season?
Well, we are going to miss Lindsey Pulliam, believe me, and those 2,000 points and her leadership. And I give her a hard time. But one of the great players probably to go down in the history of Northwestern and the Big Ten, and really did amazing things for our program on and off the court. So, we're going to have to find, different pieces to, we have 5 freshmen. They're all offensive minded. We're sitting veer on them about defense right now. But I think we have weapons. We have options. And I think like Sydney has games where she's had 19, 20 points. So, she's capable of scoring. Veronica has games where she has 27. She's done whatever needed to win. So, it's going to come from different places. Probably a lot more, there'll be more shots distributed, we really depended on Lindsey, especially, late in the clock or, in trying to create things. So, but I think it'll be fun to watch. It'll be a little tough on me at times.
Well, I wanted to talk about those freshmen, but before that, I absolutely, Veronica, have this image in my head of like the first practice of Joe being like, V, come here. All these freshmen like to shoot. Would you just show them how we shut them down here in Evanston?
100%. That's a challenge every day.
Yeah.
No, but very excited for the incoming freshmen for sure. I think a lot of people will step up this year.
How do you describe this group of freshmen? Because this is not like, freshmen, we always like them. These are highly regarded freshmen that
100%.
a lot of programs wanted.
Yeah, I would say they're confident and just eager to learn. I think that's one of the biggest things, too, is they're asking questions. They want to get in the film room. They want to just learn each and every day from us, too. And they'll be ready to ask coach questions, but they'll also come up to some of the upperclassmen, which we think is really important. And you just see them getting better every day.
Has the amount of playing time that you're willing to give a freshman changed through the course of your coaching career?
That's a great question. I think some players come in, and I think Veronica and Sydney are great examples. They played so much basketball. They played at such a high level in high school and in AAU world. They've been coached, really well coached, before they ever got to college. So, the transition for them was a little bit easier. And I think then you have opportunity. When you walk into a program where there's a need for your position or the things you do well. I feel like freshmen now are coming in, a lot more ready than maybe, 10, 15 years ago. And then some are, and some, it takes a minute. But these two as freshmen, they pushed it hard, and I had to find playing time for them.
Right. Let me ask you, Sydney, your coach told me a quote last year that stuck with me. I asked him about you, and he said, I think she's the most underrated player in the league. Do you think you are?
I wouldn't say, don't want to say that necessarily, but I do go out every day knowing that I still have a lot to prove in the Big Ten, and so I've worked really hard in the offseason along with the rest of my teammates so we can just continue off the momentum that we built last year.
Veronica, why should she no longer be underrated?
Because she'll kill him. I mean, I don't know. We even saw spurts of it last year. I think the second you underrate Sydney Wood is the second she'll make you regret it. So, and I think we all just have the utmost confidence in her each and every game, and she's ready to bring it on both ends of the court.
Yeah. Let me ask about someone who's not here. Courtney Shaw lost a lot of time to injury last year. How different is the team when she's on the court and healthy?
Mike, I have my own view. I'd be interested in
okay, I'm running the interview here, pal. I want to wrap the question.
Well,
all right, let's hear what they have to say.
These two have helped me coach every day they've been in Northwestern, whether I asked them or not. So,
What do you think? How does that question get answered?
Yeah, I mean, I think she's just a very versatile player. I think she's really athletic and really fast. So when we have her in the game, she's a great rebounder too. I think that was the part where we kind of struggled this year too, especially when she was out. I mean, I think Paige and Anna Morris, incoming freshmen last year, did a great job and stepped up. But it's hard. I mean, you're getting thrown into it in the Big Ten. It's a very competitive league, and but again, when Courtney's on the floor, I think it's just a different element too, and just experience level, it's up there. So I think that helps.
Yeah. Last thing, Sydney, tell me something I don't know about your head coach.
Oh gosh, there's a lot. I would say he's just a really funny guy. Like
we know that.
Yeah. But every day in practice, I'll look over at him and he's always doing something different, and it's just so funny to me. So I would say I'm sure y'all know that, but that's like probably my favorite thing about him is he's just really funny. So
Veronica, something we don't know about him?
That he doesn't dance as often as he does on TV. I would say we don't always see it behind the scenes.
You don't know that.
But he's good when the camera's on, even in TikToks. He's pretty good on TikTok.
Okay, maybe there's an NOI in my future.
100%. He gets our viewership up.
Sydney, Veronica, and Joe, thanks for your time. Have a great season. Good talking to you.
Mike, thank you, man.
you.
Thanks for
Thank
what
you.
you do.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Let's turn over to the men's side now. Dave?
Mike, thank you very much. Here is the outlook for Northwestern. You see the Wildcats coming off a year that saw them get as high as number 19 in the AP poll, started 3-0 in the Big Ten, a team that made the NCAA tournament back in 2017, looking to get back there this year with its most experienced team since that time, and very pleased to be joined by the head coach of the Wildcats, Chris Collins, along with one of his star players, Pete Nance. Let's start with where you guys peaked last year. I mean, you had the great start to the Big Ten season. You got back into the top 25 for the first time since the year after that NCAA tournament team. How do you recapture that start? How do you get it back to where it was?
Yeah, I think the positive is we see that it's there. You know, with as deep and as talented as the Big Ten was last year, to come out of the gates and to have wins like that, I thought we were very confident. I thought we played at a very high level. And then a little bit of the gauntlet of the Big Ten kind of got us, you know, and I think the biggest thing for us is not to let one or two losses turn into 6, 7, 8. Because that's when your season then starts to go the other way. And that's kind of been our bugaboo the last couple years. And there's going to be losses in the Big Ten. It's too good of a league. Right. It's too well coached. But we got to be able to be tough enough to then come back to that next game and say, you know what, we got to figure out a way to win this one and get ourselves back on track.
Pete, what did you learn both from the successes and from the disappointments with that team last year?
I think that was a great experience for us heading into this year. Learning from being in that position, being 3-0, I think you got to keep playing like nothing, like you haven't won any games. Just stay humble and keep playing as hard as you can. Playing against the good teams we played against, we kind of went through the gauntlet like Coach was talking about. But I think with experience, we'll know that we're a really good team. And I think that you can't let your head, you can't put your head down when you're playing such great teams, and you can't let those games stack on top of each other, and you got to just, pick up a win and not let those streaks go on like we have been.
What has stood out here with this group early in practice?
I think the togetherness, the camaraderie, the spirit, I think we got 7 of our top 8 returning scorers back. Right. This has been a group that we've invested in. We made that decision a couple years ago. We're going to go young. We're going to develop. We're going to continue to add pieces to that puzzle as we go along. And we feel like it's an opportunity now for us to be that team. We felt like we were a lot better last year than we were 2 years ago, but it still wasn't quite good enough to be where we needed to get to. These guys have been through some ups. They've been through some downs. They're really a together group. They really like each other, which is a good thing. They like being in the gym. Winning seems to be the sole focus, and that's going to have to be the message the whole year if we're going to be a team that contends at the end of the year.
Interested to know how you see your role, Pete. It was interesting last year. You played a great deal at the 5. You played some at the 4 when you guys went big with Ryan Young in there. Yes, how do you see your role on this team?
I think a little bit of the same. Being at the top of the key, facilitating, the offense, I think is somewhere I feel really comfortable. But I also think Ryan Young is a great post scorer, and when if I ever need to step down to the 4 and I, play that role, I can do that too. Just affecting the game in multiple different ways besides scoring is going to be a huge focus for me, and I'm excited to be able to do the same thing I did last year as far as facilitating and being able to stretch the floor.
How is that front court coming together? You have Robbie Barron, I know you've been very excited about. You brought in a transfer as well.
Yeah.
Give us a sense of that front court, including Pete.
I like the depth and the versatility. Obviously we know Pete is going to be there. We know what we have in Ryan Young. Robbie Barron has been a guy that I think is primed to have a big jump here as a junior. We've added Elijah Williams, who was a standout player, Fairleigh Dickinson, local Evanston guy. He's been a winning player. He's a different body type, kind of a wide-bodied guy that can move, make plays. And then Matt Nicholson at 7'1", who gives us kind of that element of that big, low-post guy that you're going to need at some point in the Big Ten with the guys we face. So we feel like we got 5 guys on the front line that all can really help us and can bring different things and put different combinations together, which I think can make us more dangerous.
Feels like through the years, rebounding has at times been an issue. I know on the offensive side, sometimes it's a decision to get back on defense, but on the defensive side, giving up second chance points, where does this rank among your better rebounding teams?
It's going to have to be an emphasis, because there are times when we go a little bit smaller, and that can be an offensive advantage when we put Pete out there kind of as that small ball center. But then you might give up some girth on the other end, and that's where it can't just be on the bigs. It's got to be on the guards. We got to collectively get down there and do a better job on the defensive glass. I think that's one area we're trying to really focus on here in the preseason as we head into non-conference play.
How about the backcourt? Give us your scouting report, Pete.
I love our backcourt. Obviously Boo Buie, Chase Audige, Ty Berry. I'm super excited about Ty's growth and his role, his expanded role that he's going to have coming into this season. We obviously all know what Boo can be. Super explosive scorer. Chase, great defender, great playmaker for us. And I love Ryan Greer, too. I think he brings, a steadiness to the game when he's in there. I think he calms everybody down. And I just feel really confident in those guys as far as the experience that they all have. And I just think as far as running our team, I think they do a great job.
This is a really highly touted recruiting class for you. You have several players who had a lot of offers, a lot of different places they could have gone. Who can contribute among that group, do you think, right away?
They're all kind of in a mold of players that I really like. They're all between 6'4" to 6'7", and they all are versatile guys. Casey Simmons is a guy, 6'7", super athlete, quick twitch guy, can be a defensive stopper, can get up and down the floor, active on the glass. Brooks Barnheiser, Indiana kid, led the state in scoring last year, but he's 6'6", 220 pounds. He's a big, strong guy who can pass, handle, and shoot. He's a winner. He's tough. And Julian Roper, great two-way guy on the wing. I think there's going to be opportunities for all of them. I mean, it's a long season. So, these young guys are guys we're really high on. They're getting better, and they have great veterans to learn from. That's what's great about it. They're like Pete and these guys walked into an environment where there were no older guys, and they had to kind of figure it out on their own. These young guys are now a part of a team where there are guys in their third, fourth year that have been around. They understand what it takes, and I think it'll really help with our freshman development.
Chris Collins, Pete Nance, guys, have a great year. Really good to see you both.
Thank you.